All right. Hi, I hope you guys had a great Christmas break. So we're back at school. So remember, you have your math blitz that is coming up. So I'm really going to focus that on your next 2 weeks. You really do the best job possible on those packets. Make sure that you're showing your strategies. You're looking at that exemplar checklist. My goal for today, tomorrow, and this weekend is to go through each question and show you what I expect, what work needs to be shown on your math test in order to be successful. Okay. So we're going to do a quick review on multiplying fractions because I know that's what we worked on the week before Christmas break, and so you may have forgot a little bit. So let's go through that, and then we're going to talk about dividing fractions in another video. So this mini lesson is about multiplying fractions with a whole number by a fraction. So these are things that you have to show me with multiplying fractions. So for example, let's say we have 5 times 2/3 equals 3 1/3. Okay, so notice how we have, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw 5 whole groups. So step 1 is I'm going to draw 5 whole groups. As you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My denominator tells me that I have 3 equal parts in each whole. So then I'm going to split each whole or partition each whole into thirds because the denominator tells me 3 parts, so I'm going to draw 3 parts. The next step is I'm going to shade in 2/3 of each whole. So for each whole, I'm going to shade in 2/3 so you can see the different colors. Then in step 4, we're going to combine the shaded parts to get our answer, our product. So when we combine all of our shaded parts, we notice that we get 1, 2, 3, 1/3 as a fraction. And then notice on here, I also did it on a number line. So you need to be able to show me how to multiply fractions using the area model and the number line. So in this example, I'm going to draw, instead of drawing 5 holes, I'm going to draw 5 tick marks, right? Each to represent each hole. Then within each hole, I'm going to partition thirds in the number line. And then I'm going to skip count every time. So every arrow is how many whole groups I'm splitting. So if I have 5 groups, I'm skip counting 5 times, and I'm skip counting 2/3 every time. And notice that I land at 3 1/3. So we got the same answer. The 2 strategies are just a little bit different. Okay. It's up to you which model you decide to use to show me that you know how to multiply a whole number by a fraction, but it's important that you're able to use any model that's given to you, whether it's the area model or the number line on your test. Okay? So the week before Christmas break, I made you guys practice. So for example, 4 times 1/4, I'm going to draw 1/4 4 times. If this sounds like repeated addition, it's because it is. So I'm going to draw right here. Here is 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, when I regroup these, I know that I've pretty much drawn 1 whole. So then 4 times 1/4 equals 1 whole. In this example, I'm going to color 1/3 5 times. I notice that I have 1 whole already shown. So I have 1 whole and I have 2/3. So 5 times 1/3 equals 1 2/3. So these are very easy. I like these. They're just, it's literally repeated addition. Here's your fraction. You're going to draw it 6 times. So I'm going to do 3/5. Okay. I'm going to use different colors. Notice that I'm going to do 6 groups of 3/5. So far I've created 1, 2, 3, 4 groups. I'm going to do group 5. And I'm going to do another group of, there we go. All right, so now I'm going to count and combine everything together. So I notice that I have 3 holes filled out. So it's 3 3/5. So my answer here is 3 3/5 as my product. And then the same goes for here. If I have 5 groups of 2/8, it does help if you do different colors, if you want to kind of remind yourself. And when I do that, I have 1 whole and 2/8. Okay. All right. Perfect. So let's look at some word problems. So when do I multiply with fractions in a word problem? So we multiply when you're making groups. Are you taking part of a whole, which we'll talk about on the next section? Are you taking a part of a part? Or do you see these words of, groups of, times, or multiplied? So in the STAR test specifically, you're going to get off easy this year. So they're nice to you where every time you see the word of, it means to multiply the fraction. Next year, that might not be the case for 6th grade math, right? So just be on the lookout that this year it's going to be nice and easy, where if you see the word of with a fraction, they want you to multiply. So for example, Cade plays Fortnite 7 days a week. Each day he plays for 3/4 of an hour. So we can create the area model, and each box is going to represent a day. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay, and each day he does 3/4. So I'm not going to spend too much time drawing the picture. I'm just going to write 3/4. Now I know that I'm multiplying because this 7 days right here is representing groups. It tells me my each, which is 3/4. It's asking me how many hours did he do. So it's asking for a total, which means they want a product. So because I'm given my groups, I'm given my each, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to multiply. So I'm literally taking 7 times 3/4. So because the denominators are all the same, I know that my denominator is going to be 4. I just have to count my numerators because remember, multiplying is repeated addition. So I have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 20, let's see, 15, 18, and then 21. So I have 21 fourths. Okay, so 3, 6, 9. So then I could figure out, well, how many groups is that? So in order to do that, I'm going to think about how many 4s go into 21. 4 times 5 is 20. What's left over would be 1/4. If you have questions on that, how do you take an improper fraction and change it into a mixed fraction, please let me know. Okay? So if you can get this answer, but you're struggling to figure out the mixed, talk to me. Send me a message on Google. All right, so next one here. Austin ordered 2 large pizzas. Okay, so I'm going to draw 2 pizzas. He requested for each pizza to be 1/2 of a hamburger. So we see that word each. We know we're dealing with 2 large whole pizzas. And notice that the word of is not here. And I did that on purpose. So yes, it'll be, sometimes it's going to be nice where that of is there, so you know that you have to multiply, but that's not always the case. Sometimes you're going to have to really think about it. So if you see this each and you see 1/2 and it's asking how much hamburger pizza did he order, they're asking for a total. So in other words, this 2 actually represents a group. So the first thing I figure out what operation I'm going to do is I look at that question. If that question is asking for a total to combine everything, then I need, it's either adding or multiplying. And then from there, if I see an each, then I'm like, okay, that's cool. Then I can figure out, okay, well, the 1/2 is already given to me, which is the each. So that other number represents the number of groups. And then from there, I would just draw in 1/2. And then so 1/2 here, 1/2 here. So if I combine these together, right, I would get 1 whole because 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 1 whole. Okay, let me make this a little bit better. All right. So third question. So notice sometimes that of helps. Other times you have to think about, are you making groups? Yes. And if I'm making groups and I have an each, then yes, I'm going to multiply, right? All right, here's another example. Drake put out a new song that is 3 minutes long. Post Malone is featured in 2/5 of the song. How long is the Post Malone featured in the Drake song? So notice I did the area model. I did a pictorial model where I drew a picture of a pizza. The next strategy I'm going to use is a number line. So it says Drake put out 3 new songs that are 3 minutes long. Post Malone is featured in 2/5 of the song. So I'm going to create a number line. I'm going to first create my holes. I'm going to draw 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to look at that denominator to tell me how many. I'm going to have to partition my number line. So I'm going to have to partition into fifths. So that means I'm going to have 4 tick marks. And that 5 out of 5 is going to count for that whole. Whoops, sorry. I got messed up on that one. Then I'm going to skip count 2/5, 3 groups. So I'm going to use that loop to represent 1 group. So this is 2/5, that's 1 group. Then I'm going to do, or actually let me go back. I need to, one thing I forgot. You always start off at 0. So I started off actually at 1/5, which is wrong. So let me go back. Let me fix this. It's really important that you have a tick mark for 0 because we always start off at 0. So I'm going to put a tick mark right here. And write 0. There we go. Now I'm going to start from 0 and skip count 2/5. So 1, 2, 3. So I'm at 1, 1/5. And I can justify that and show that that's true because if I do 2/5 plus 2/5 plus 2/5, it's repeated addition, right? So I have 6/5. And 6/5 is equal to 1 1/5. Okay? So that is multiplying so let me go back. This is multiplying a whole number by a fraction. Okay? The next lesson I'm going to do is multiplying a fraction by a whole. So it's flipped. So we're actually starting with a fraction, and we're looking at a part of a whole, right? So a little bit different. All right. So please review this lesson and let me know if you have any questions, okay? But hopefully this video should kind of help you to remember what we learned prior to Christmas break.